Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters in Islam. Welcome to this channel, where we embrace the beauty of our faith and deepen our understanding of the Quran and Sunnah. Before we begin, I invite you to subscribe and join our growing community, dedicated to learning, practicing, and sharing the message of Islam. May Allah bless you abundantly for your support. The power of silence. Lessons from the Prophet, peace be upon him. Silence is a path to success. Whoever learns the art of speaking less and chooses to remain quiet when unnecessary will find wisdom and tranquility. The Arabic phrase man somata refers to the act of not speaking, an action that requires effort and self-discipline. For many of us, staying silent is far more difficult than speaking. In fact, controlling one's tongue can be a greater struggle, jihad, than freely expressing thoughts without restraint. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, emphasized this principle, encouraging his followers to be mindful of their words. He himself was known for maintaining long periods of silence, speaking only when necessary. A young Sahabi once recalled sitting with the Prophet and described his manner. He would remain silent for long periods and did not laugh excessively. The companions would share stories of their days before Islam or recite poetry, laughing among themselves, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, would smile while listening. This narration gives us insight into the Prophet's, peace be upon him, character. He engaged with people through his presence and expressions rather than excessive speech. He listened attentively, allowing others to express themselves while maintaining his own dignified silence. Another companion noted, the Prophet, peace be upon him, spoke in a way that if one wished to count his words, they could do so. His speech was concise, meaningful, and to the point. This trait of speaking with wisdom is not just an Islamic teaching, it is a universal characteristic of intelligence. Wise individuals across cultures and traditions have understood that limiting unnecessary speech leads to deeper understanding and respect. One of the Sahaba advised, if you find a person who does not chase after the world and speaks only when necessary, keep his company, for Allah has granted him wisdom. True wisdom lies in choosing words carefully and valuing silence over idle talk. Surrounding ourselves with people who embody this principle will bring great benefit to our lives. The power of silence and the danger of excessive speech. I caution you against excessive talking and unnecessary speech. A person should only say what is needed and then remain silent. It is sufficient to speak when necessary and avoid going beyond that. The Prophet, peace be upon him, advised, abandon what does not benefit you. Do not speak about matters that do not concern you. Guard your tongue more carefully than you guard your gold and silver. Just as you are cautious with how you spend your wealth, be even more mindful of how you use your words. This principle was deeply understood by the Sahaba and the early scholars. Imagine how much trouble we could avoid if we chose silence over speaking in anger, silence over speaking hastily, and silence over speaking without thought. You will rarely be criticized for your silence, but you will often be criticized for speaking. Most of the time, unnecessary words bring more harm than keeping quiet. A single word can destroy years of friendship. One heated argument can weaken the love between spouses. How dangerous is the tongue when left unchecked? If only we paused, reflected, and chose our words with wisdom, we would protect our relationships and avoid unnecessary conflicts. The wisdom of controlling one's tongue is not just an Islamic teaching, it is a universal truth. Throughout history, wise people have emphasized this principle. Even the philosopher Plato, though his beliefs differ from ours, once said, wise men speak because they have something to say. Fools speak because they have nothing to say. A wise person speaks with purpose, while a fool speaks merely to fill the silence. This timeless wisdom serves as a reminder of the immense power of restraint and thoughtful speech. The power of silence in cultivating wisdom. Francis Bacon once said, silence is the sleep that nourishes wisdom. Silence provides space for reflection, helps minimize mistakes, and deepens understanding. This is why, in many traditions, meditation is linked to silence. While Islam does not practice meditation in the same way, we do embrace moments of contemplation and restraint in speech. The great scholar and ascetic Ibrahim ibn Adam stated, "The highest form of worship is deep reflection and minimal speech. True devotion is achieved when a person thinks more than they speak, except in the remembrance of Allah." Silence is a hallmark of wisdom, especially when it comes to worldly affairs. However, in today's world, silence is not just about restraining the tongue, it extends to our online presence as well. Whether posting on social media, writing emails, or engaging in digital communication, we must think before we type, tweet, or post. Never respond in anger. Pause, reflect, and carefully choose your words before speaking or writing. As the saying goes, a fool by remaining silent may appear wise, while a wise person, by speaking excessively, may appear foolish. The benefits of silence. It nurtures wisdom. It is a sign of strong faith, iman. As the Prophet said, part of the perfection of one's faith is to leave what does not concern them. It prevents unnecessary conflict and harm. It allows time for thoughtful responses. It earns respect and leaves a positive impression. Most importantly, it safeguards against sin and earns the pleasure of Allah. Silence is an art that requires practice and discipline. The next time you feel the urge to speak, take a moment to reflect before you do. When silence is not the answer, one. While silence is virtuous in worldly matters, it is not encouraged when it comes to the remembrance of Allah. Reciting the Quran, making dhikr, spreading goodness, and reconciling between people are acts of speech that are far superior to silence. The great scholar Ibn Abdul Barr said, "Speech that involves the recitation of the Quran, calling to good, and mending relationships is far better than remaining silent." 2. Speak frequently with your Lord through dua and dhikr. A believer's true communication is with Allah. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, beautifully summarized this principle in his hadith. Whoever believes in Allah and the last day should speak good or remain silent. May Allah grant us the wisdom to speak when necessary and to remain silent when silence is best.